Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. The topic for today is improve your mesh results with organic mesh conversion. My name is Jason Lichtman, and I am going to be your host for today. We have a packed agenda as the plan for this webinar is very short. The agenda includes a little bit about me so you understand who I am as a speaker and why I'm going to be speaking about product design extension today. Then we're going to talk about the Fusion 360 extensions in general, what they are and why they're important. Then we'll focus in on the product design extension itself, what's included and what are the benefits. Then we'll dive even deeper and we'll talk about organic mesh conversion, which of course is a feature of the product design extension. We'll talk about how to get access, including how to get access to a 7-day free trial. And of course, we'll summarize everything and leave some time for questions and answers as well. So with that, let me tell you a little bit about me. My name is Jason Lichtman, and I'm a senior technical specialist for design and manufacturing at Autodesk. I focus on Fusion 360 in particular. My background is in mechanical engineering, and I spent a little over 10 years in industry itself as a professional consumer product design engineer, taking ideas, turning them into 3D models, turning those models into prototypes, and those prototypes into mass production. I've been working in the industry for the last 15 plus years, and I have to say I love designing and I love manufacturing. But I do have some specialties. They include things like 3D printing, 3D scanning and reverse engineering, which is going to come up quite a bit today, consumer product design and engineering, including the design of molded parts, especially for injection molding. And then lastly, optimization, things like generative design and shape topology optimization. But today we're going to talk mostly about the extensions. So people ask me all the time, what are these extensions and why should I even consider them? Well, Fusion 360 extensions are intended to extend the platform, to extend the capabilities of what you already have access to. The base product, the commercial license, is only $495 US. And with that, it includes a whole host of very useful tools. But there's an 80-20 rule that says that 20% of what you do is not necessarily what everyone else is going to do and what everyone else is going to use in Fusion 360. So for that 20%, we have what we call extensions. They allow you to be able to focus in on specialized tools for a specific area. In this case, product design. But all of these extensions are intended to be able to enhance your capabilities inside the same platform. So instead of having to use different softwares for different tasks, you could do all of your tasks in one platform, and that is, of course, Fusion 360. These extensions are going to automate your workflows, help you collaborate, and help you get to market faster. And most importantly of all, it gives you flexible access to these tools. You can pay for these like the product design extension or any of the extensions by the year, by the month, even sometimes by the day as well. So really flexible access. And the key here is that the base product is only $495. And then these extensions, you can pay as you need them for what you need and nothing additional. If we were to include all of these features in the product, I think you would expect that the $495 price point would probably end up going up. So these extensions make it a lot easier for you to be able to get the tools you need when you need them. And so the product design extension is, of course, focused on product design and engineering. It includes 3 areas of focus: complex modeling to help you develop complex geometry as you explore opportunities to enhance either the aesthetics or the performance of your product. It also includes automated time-saving tools, so you can get more done with less time and be able to use that time more wisely. Also, it includes intelligent design strategies. So it helps you improve your product development process with manufacturing aware capabilities. And that becomes really important as well. When we make these items more practical, they look like the following. So for complex modeling, we have features like organic mesh conversion, which is of course today's topic, geometric patterning, and volumetric latticing, which is currently in preview. We also, for those automated time-saving tools, have things like plastic design rules, which are incredible to be able to save you time by making manufacturable designs. And that's also going to play in, of course, to intelligent design strategies as well, this plastic design rules. But it also includes design advice, also in preview. And design advice helps you understand if you follow the rules in designing an injection molded product, for example. But again, these are all the features of product design extension. Today, we're going to focus on the organic mesh conversion. And you can see here the different design extension features relative to the core product. So core product includes parametric modeling, surface modeling, freeform modeling, mesh modeling, I missed direct modeling, of course, sheet metal modeling, and more. But with the product design extension, you also have access to those plastic design rules, the plastic design specific features like boss, web, and snap fit, and the plastic design advice I mentioned a moment ago that helps you understand if you've already followed those rules correctly. It also includes geometric patterning and the organic mesh conversion. And if you look at them, you'll see that there is a group of plastic part design specific features, and then there's also geometric patterning and the organic mesh conversion that can apply to a whole bunch of different things. So let's look at organic mesh conversion in more detail. So first of all, there are 3 different ways to convert meshes in Fusion 360 today. If you go to the Mesh tab and you go to the Convert Mesh feature, you'll see a pop-up that looks like the one on the screen right now. The method number 1 is called Faceted. Method number 2 is Prismatic, and method 3 is Organic. Let me explain what these each are. Faceted is going to convert your mesh into a solid or a surface, converting each polygon into a face of the BREP solid or the BREP surface. It is great for low volume polygon meshes, but when you have really complex meshes, that could be more of a challenge. Prismatic is a little bit more of a reverse engineering tool. So it takes simple prismatic mesh shaped parts. Sorry, I said that funny. Let's try that again. It takes prismatic shaped mesh files and helps you convert them into very usable solids and surfaces by reverse engineering them. But it's really meant for prismatic shapes. So the organic conversion is really going to be meant for everything else. So if you have an organic shape or you have scan data, the organic method is really the winner here. Now, let me be clear in access. So if we look at these 3 types, you're going to see that the faceted approach is available to everyone. Regardless of what Fusion 360 license you will have access to faceted. The prismatic option is only available to our commercial subscribers. So if you happen to be a personal use user or hobbyist, as we call them, your hobbyists are not going to have access to the prismatic conversion. If you would like access to it, you can have access to it. You would just need to purchase the commercial license type. It's $495 US, and in my opinion, is worth every penny, even for a hobby. I personally have a lot of hobbies. I spend a lot more than that on hardware for skiing and mountain biking, and also my laser cutting, right? So all of the above I spend money on. If you would like to, you have access to do that as well. The organic mesh conversion is available only to our product design extension subscribers. It is primarily used for commercial applications, and it is a application that is a little bit more detailed, more complicated, and takes a lot of resources on Autodesk or Autodesk side of things to be able to make happen. And it is part, again, of the product design extension. So that's how you would have access to it. Keep in mind, of course, that to have the product design extension, you would also need to have a commercial license. So it goes in tiers of those 3 different options. Now, what does the organic mesh conversion actually do? So it's doing 3 conversions in one. The first thing it's doing is it's taking your standard mesh, or what we call a tri-mesh, which is a mesh made of triangles, and converts it into a quad mesh, or a mesh made of quads or squares. Then it's going to take that quad mesh and convert it into a T-spline, or what we call a form. And once it's in a form, then lastly, it converts it into the solid or the surface. There's a fancy term that we use called boundary representational surfaces or solids. For short, we call them BREPs. But BREP is a standard engineering solid model or surface model that you would work with in Fusion 360, in Inventor, or any of our competitor products. Now, the organic mesh conversion actually has two options, what we call the parametric and the base feature. The parametric version is going to do all three of these conversions in the background all in one shot. It's either going to work successfully or it is going to fail, depending on a couple of factors. The base feature is going to do 2/3 of this conversion. It's going to do the tri-mesh to quad mesh conversion and the quad mesh to T-spline conversion. And it leaves you with the ability to do that last step, which by the way is very quick and easy. You'll see it in just a moment. But the reason that it does it this way is because it gives you some benefits of being able to edit that T-spline. And because if there's a problem with this conversion, it's usually from the T-spline or form into that last step. So by stopping at that step, it gives you the ability to fix that problem. And that to me is really important, maybe even more important than being able to actually edit the shape itself. So let's go and take a look at what this all looks like in the product itself. So let's switch over to Fusion 360. I'm going to demonstrate for you first the faceted option and then the prismatic option, and then we'll focus in on the organic conversion itself. So here I have a mesh file. This is a really simple tweeter bracket for a speaker, for a Subaru as it turns out. And this particular mesh was created in a CAD program. Could have been Fusion 360, it could have been Inventor. You know, to be frank, I don't even know what software made it. Doesn't really matter. But I have this mesh and I want to make it into a solid so that I can use it for a variety of different things. You can see here that the body is a mesh. When I go to that mesh tab, I'll see under modify, you'll see that convert mesh option right here. I can select my mesh, choose my faceted option and hit OK. In just a second, I now have a solid body as seen here on the left by this gray cylindrical icon. I can now go and make edits to this particular solid body or keep adding onto it if I'd like to as well. And that to me is really important. And this happened, by the way, very fast because this model happens to be very low poly count or low number of polygons. If I did have a very organic mesh, and you'll see some in just a moment, this could be very challenging, both for the conversion itself. It could take several minutes, but then once it is finished converting, it might be very difficult to work with because your performance is going to suffer. If you have 100,000 polygons, each one of them is going to have to calculate as you rotate the model. And that'll get worse when we start talking about 1 million or 5 million, for example. But let's try the other option. So let's go to prismatic. I'm going to go back into my conversion method and I'll go and choose prismatic. And when I hit OK, in theory, it's going to go and convert it using the prismatic approach. But I could already tell you right now, it is going to warn me and fail. And the reason is because the prismatic option is really using and relying on something called face groups, and I haven't made them yet. So let's go and actually delete this feature. Let's go and make our face groups, and then you'll be able to see how the prismatic conversion works. I go and I generate face groups, and what it's doing in the background is it's figuring out which of these groups of triangles should be grouped together. I'm going to turn on my mesh display to show the face groups. You can actually see them. And now you can actually see those different colors representing different objects. So this is all going to be a flat face. Same for this flat face. This is going to be cylindrical. This is going to be cylindrical or a portion of it to make an arc. Same thing for this. And of course, this is going to be a flat, but it's, you know, off on the side and more vertical than truly flat or horizontal. But once this has been created, now I could use the prismatic option. So let's go back to modify and we'll go to our convert mesh. I'll choose this prismatic option. I'll choose the mesh itself. And when I hit OK, absolute magic. It converts this into a solid body. And now this body is completely editable. I can come in here and grab this and make this taller. I could go and make this smaller. I could go and add fillets to this. I could do all sorts of different types of edits to this particular body. But remember that this works really well on prismatic shapes. So what happens when you have what should be a prismatic shape, but the actual mesh file is just a little bit too detailed or imperfect. And that's what happens often with scan data. So here you can see a bracket, and this is actually a relatively prismatically shaped bracket, but this bracket is a scan, and as a result, those triangles that are on the top of the bracket are not really flat. And so when you go and do the generate face groups tool, you'll see that it's going to generate face groups for you, but they're not going to be truly perfect. So here you can see I have different face groups for different areas, but this is not at all what I was hoping for. This is going to completely fail when I use that prismatic option. So what do I do in situations like this? Well, the organic mesh conversion tool is exactly the right tool for this. So let me show you what this would look like. You go under the mesh tab, you go to modify, you go to convert mesh, you choose the actual mesh. And in this case, you'll see that I'm setting this up as parametric, which means I could always go back and edit my settings later. And if I made any changes to the mesh, they would automatically update the result of this conversion. I'm going to choose organic, and I have a whole bunch of options here for resolution and accuracy, things like that. And once I choose everything the way I like it, I hit OK, and it's either, just like I mentioned before, going to succeed or it's going to fail. More often than not, it's going to succeed for you and give you a solid body. Now, rather than have you wait approximately a minute for that to calculate, let me show you the results. So this is the same bracket using the organic mesh conversion. And you can see here from this bodies list that this is a solid body. So if you are designing things in, let's say, 3ds Max from Autodesk, or Modo, or ZBrush, any kind of mesh editor, well, you might want to convert that to a solid. And this is a great way for you to be able to do that. So you bring that STL, OBJ, 3MF, or FBX file into Fusion 360. Then you go and also 3MF, our new file type for meshes. You could then go and use your parametric organic conversion, and you'll end up with a solid body like this. If you wanted to add features to this, you can do so right here. If you wanted to remove material, you could do that right here as well. And of course, if you wanted to do things like create a mold based on this part, you could, of course, do that here too, right? You have a solid body. This should be pretty straightforward. But I did mention earlier that sometimes this conversion will fail. And I want to be able to show you a way that you can be able to get it to succeed for you. A method that works really well for me. As I mentioned, when you're in this conversion dialog box, there is an option here at the top to choose between parametric or base feature. Base feature is a non-parametric feature. It is a one-time conversion. If you wanted to change your settings, you would simply do that task again. And that's fine. Remember that the base feature method is going to do 2/3 of the work and stop. So this is the example I'll show you. I've already run the base feature conversion. And at this point, I am in the form environment. Remember that the conversion changed it from a tri-mesh to a quad mesh, and then quad mesh to a T-spline or form, and then it stops. So that's why we're right here. At this point, I have the opportunity to change the actual shape of the part. So I can come in here and select one or more of these faces, and I could use my edit form tool, and I can come in here and I can actually just go and manipulate this. Let me go and grab this guy, and you can see here, I can pull this and warp it, which for something like this bracket, which is prismatic, not necessarily what I'd want to do, but for an organic shape, I think that that could be very fitting. So you can use your mesh editing tools like Blender, Modo, ZBrush, Mudbox, Mesh Mixer, and make those topology changes, or you could actually do them right here in Fusion 360. I'm going to go and cancel that change because, again, this is a prismatic shape. I don't really need that. But we're going to go and hit that Finish Form button and see what happens. So let's go and hit Finish Form. And we're going to see, oh, look at that. We have an error. Remember, this is going to happen from time to time. What I love about the base feature conversion is that the base feature gives you the opportunity to fix the problem. So there's something in this T-spline that's problematic. And at this point, I would just go and hit the return button. And now I could go and fix my T-spline. Under utilities, we have several different tools at your disposal. The first one I try is repair body. So I'll go and pick my T-spline. I'll choose this auto repair and hit the OK button. And then I could go and hit finish form and see if it's fixed the problem. In this case, I already know it's not going to fix it because it gives me the opportunity to show you the other methods. So let's go back to return. And I'll show you that the other thing that works really well is make uniform. It relaxes the spline. But the third option that I would look at is the display mode. In display mode, you can change between what we call smooth display or a hybrid or control frame, and then something called box display. Box display is a great way to see if you have problems in your form. And I could already tell you, I already know what the problem is going to be in this particular one. I have a polygon that's basically wrapped inside out on itself, which is not a very good thing. So I can come in here in this box mode. I can choose what I want to go and modify and go and find the problem, which I believe is right here. And then I could go and grab this and pull this out and bring this out so it's not wrapping inside itself. Once I've done that, I could just go and switch back to my smooth display. That's looking pretty good, a little warbly wobbly. I might want to fix that later, but for now, this is good enough. And I'll just go and hit OK and finish form. And if I fix my problem, I'm now going to get a solid body with as few faces as possible. So you're not going to get the exact number of faces as you saw on the form. You're going to get fewer, which is a good thing. Most importantly, though, at this point, I have a solid body. So again, I could go and use this for a variety of different purposes. But again, to compare and contrast between the parametric and the base feature, the parametric option is, of course, parametric. There are advantages of that. But the base feature option, I think, is really helpful because it allows you to be able to manipulate the shape itself if you'd like to. And most importantly, it allows you to fix any conversion problems. That parametric conversion is either going to succeed or it's going to fail, whereas the base feature version gives you opportunities to actually fix the problem itself. So that's a really good look at what this is doing. Just to show you where you can lead with this, I'm just going to show you another example. This is an example of a very organic mesh. See if I can get that to load more properly. There it is. And this is a very organic mesh. This actually started off as a scan, and this was converted using the organic mesh conversion method. Let's go and hide our data panel so you can see this a little bit more clearly. And so you can see the difference. This purple is the original mesh, and this is a highly complex mesh. Let's go and take a look at our properties here. This mesh happens to have, let's go and take a look at our number, 582,080 polygons. Could I convert this to a solid using the faceted approach? Perhaps. But once I do, I'm going to have some serious performance challenges. But by using the organic mesh conversion, I also end up with a solid body, but I have far fewer faces. Depending on the level of detail you choose, you can still have a lot of faces, but I can promise you it is not going to be 582,000. So I hope that you found that helpful. Let's get this window out of the way for a moment. Cool, we'll jump right back into our PowerPoint. All right, so how do you actually get access to this? Well, remember that this is part of the product design extension. You can go to our website. The link is right below, or the URL is below. You can also pull out your phone and use the camera right now to scan that QR code, which will take you to our website. I'll show you the website itself. Just a moment here. This is our website. It'll give you a lot more information about the product design extension, what it has to offer, and more videos and information about the specific features like geometric patterning and feature-based automation and all sorts of really helpful stuff. If you're interested in actually trying this out yourself, you can sign up at the bottom here to create a 7-day free trial. After those 7 days are up, of course, we would love for you to purchase the extension, but realistically, we want what's best for your business, and that's why that 7-day trial exists, so you can actually try this out. If you are looking at this feature for your business, please reach out to us because we can set up a one-on-one consultation, and we can also set up a demonstration that's catered specifically to your needs and your workflow. That to me, I think is really important. So to summarize, we have covered quite a bit today. We talked a little bit about me. We talked a little bit about extensions in general and why they exist. We talked about the product design extension and what's included in it. Then we jumped into the organic mesh conversion in particular, the feature that alone can be worth the $595 US for the product design extension. We talked a little bit about what it does, how it does it, and how to use it. We also talked a little bit about the pros and cons of each of the different options that are available. Lastly, we talked about how to get access and how to reach out to Autodesk if you have any questions or if you would like a one-on-one consultation or a one-on-one demonstration. It's been an absolute pleasure to be able to talk about organic mesh conversion. It is one of the topics that I think is really, really fun and super interesting. I hope that you found today valuable. This recording is going to be sent to you so that you can rewatch it and of course post it on our YouTube channel as well. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and don't forget, with Fusion 360, you can make anything. Have a wonderful day out there. Bye for now.